Hi, this is Christian Dye from Latitude West Financial. I thought I would take this opportunity to explain the changes that are happening with the Manulife disability insurance policy for the dental students. So, things to consider about the insurance. So, first question to answer is why to get disability insurance for dentists. So, dentists aren't covered through work. They're essentially self-employed business owners. So, it's their responsibility to get the coverage on their own. So why should I get it in school when I'm not working yet? Well, there are three factors constantly moving in the wrong direction. One is your age, one is the rates, and one is your health. These are all factors that might cause you to pay more for your disability insurance, or to potentially even be declined from it. You typically need this insurance in order to work, for multiple reasons. So essentially everybody gets this type of insurance in the same way they get, car insurance. So a quick case study over here. So I have a case study of Susie, and she delayed her disability insurance and decided to place it in fourth year. So at graduation, because the 4A was no longer available, she was then, of course, had to get a 3A policy. She had an exclusion on her right hand because of a snowboard injury. She also had a mental health exclusion because she decided to do some counseling while at UBC for stress and anxiety. And then she was rated for a 200% rating. So what I'm doing is a case study as to potentially what might happen of a standard policy versus, a rated policy. So at age 25, for 500 per month of coverage, which is the minimum amount of coverage, but at a 4A discount with Manulife, with that and the discount at 15%, this policy is about $45 per month. Now, if we fast forward when Susie goes into her fourth year, and she's got, of course, the injuries and the ratings and things of that sort, and has now been downgraded to a 3A and has lost her discount, the policy should have cost her about 163 per month when she puts in the grad limit of 3,500 per month of coverage. But because of this, of the rating, the loss of the discount plus the 3A, this policy is now as high as 339. So this case study is basically saying what might happen by delaying. So what are other ratings and exclusions? So a rating is when a percentage is added onto your disability insurance because of some sort of a pre-existing condition or some sort of a health style risk. An exclusion is when there's something in your lifestyle or something in your health, which the insurance company feels is too high of a risk. So what they end up doing is they cause it to be an exclusion. So for example, if you were to, be a diabetic, or if you had mental health issues, then they can say, here is your disability insurance policy, which we have approved, but it's excluded for mental health, which means if you had a mental health history and you were to claim a disability insurance from it, then it's just not covered. So travel is actually another one. If it is possible that they could exclude travel if you traveled regularly to what they might consider a red zone country. So they would say you're covered here in Canada, North America, and Europe, but if you were to travel into one of these specific countries, then you might be then it would not pay out the claim. But we wouldn't be able to determine this until you actually apply, because it's not just one paintbrush. It depends on a case by case scenario, and any sort of injuries with your knees, joints. These are all things that could affect a rating or an exclusion. When you're young, it's the absolute best time to put a policy in place. Send in an application just to see what type of rating or exclusions there are. And one of the wonderful things that I'm able to help with is if you potentially believe that you might have a rating or an exclusion, because I'm an elite advisor, I'm able to have a dedicated underwriter that I can speak with. I don't have to send an email. I don't have to fill out an application. I can just call them and talk to them about your scenario without even mentioning your name, just to get a better understanding of what we might do to improve your scenario, or what type of rating or exclusion we might expect, to see whether it's worth it to even apply. So that, again, is one of the advantages that I'm able to help with. So what is the big change happening in September? So Manulife, which is essentially the best policy for dental students, will be canceling their 4A disability plan called the Proguard series. So what is the consequences of this policy no longer being offered? So now we'd have to go to another insurance carrier, and the other insurance carriers are all only giving dentists a 3A. So if you were to do a side-by-side comparison between a 4A and a 3A, we know for sure that the 3A will cost more for the same amount of coverage compared to a 4A. So your premiums will go higher. And remember, those premiums stay with you for the rest of your career. The own occupation is available on a Manulife 4A policy. And with this own occupation, it protects your occupation as a dentist. So what that means is, let's pretend that you had a microbi undergrad. Let's pretend you became a dentist, and let's say you injured your hand, such to the extent that you can no longer practice dentistry. So now I want you to imagine that you are a 4A with an own occupation class. If you decided to work elsewhere, they would still pay you your disability insurance for your for the amount that you were covered for. So let's say you had 10,000 a month of coverage, you were working as a dentist, and you were to suddenly be injured, and then you would get this 10,000 per month. Now, let's say you decided to, be a college professor, a lab tech, a teacher. Would you get both the disability insurance income and the new income? And the answer, with own occupation, you would. Without own occupation, you then fall into something they call regular occupation. What that means is that they would look at something that you were reasonably trained for, and an occupation that you can continue to work at, such as a lab tech, or such as a high school teacher, something like that, so that they would stop paying you your 10,000 even if you didn't go to work. But they said, well, this person has the ability to go to work, and so we're going to stop paying them. So that's why own occupation is an incredibly important feature to have in all disability plans for people with higher income, such as dentists. The other issue with going from a 4A to a 3A is the limits go down. So what the limits are is, as a dental student, you can put as little as $500 a month coverage in, but you're guaranteed, a limit of 20,000. So what that means is that usually in first year, you would put in a minimum of 500, a maximum of 1,500. You can choose whether you want to do the minimum or maximum. When you're in fourth year, you could put a maximum of 3,500 of coverage, even though you don't have a job yet. But then when you start working, the coverage goes up based off of income. So what that means is, if your income goes to, let's say, 200,000, maybe you qualify for coverage of, let's say 10,000 a month. So then, do I have to do medicals to get that increase? And the answer is no. One of the beautiful things about this plan, the Proguard series Manulife plan, is that it has a guaranteed feature of increasing your insurance without any evidence of medicals. Well, what if I end up being sick? What if I become diabetic? What if I have this massive knee injury or a hand injury? Do they look at any of those things when I upgrade my insurance? And the answer is no, they do not, which is why it's so important to apply when you're young. Even if it's a very, very, very minimal amount of a policy, it's incredibly important to apply when you're young, to lock in the plan itself. And what about the cost of it? Does that go up? So let's say you were to put in a 1,500 per month coverage, and let's say this costs $50 per month as an example. It will always cost you $50 a month for that 1,500 a month of coverage. That does not go up throughout your entire lifetime. The only time it goes up is when you add more insurance. So let's say you're practicing and you decide to add another layer of 3,000 per month. That 3,000 per month will now cost, it'll depend on what are the rates and what is your age and what is your gender at the time you increase it. So let's just pretend it costs another 100 per month. Then for the rest of your working years, you will now be paying 50 for the first layer and 100 for the next layer, totaling 150. But do I get a discount because I'm no longer a student? And the answer is yes, as long as you sign up for the Proguard plan before it expires. It comes with a 15% discount, but that's a 15% discount for the rest of your life, including on the extra amounts that you add on. That's the beautiful thing about the Manulife Proguard plan. You get the 4A, you get the 15% discount for your lifetime, you get the additional FIO called future insurability option up to 20,000, you get the own occupation, you get those higher limits. So one of the advantages of using myself and the Latitude West team to put in your policy is that we are Manulife's elite advisor. Now, not everyone is an elite advisor, and I at UBC Dentistry am the only elite advisor with Manulife to the best of my knowledge. So by being an elite, I am given a dedicated underwriter. I have priority on all of the policies I issue, and I have priority on all of the applications that I submit, which means that there won't be a risk of missing the deadline because they only give you a certain amount of months in order to place the policy. Even if you submit your policy in September, there is no guarantee that it will meet the 4A deadline because there is a time limit. And there are delays that can occur from, getting an attending physician statement from a doctor. There's all these different things that might delay it, such as, a backlog with their underwriters. There won't be a backlog because I have a dedicated underwriter with my policy. So those are one of the advantages of me being an elite advisor. I have been Manulife's top living benefits advisor since 2017 in British Columbia. So you're in good hands with myself, and I have never had a problem making a claim because I have such a large dental, a large client book. I have a big team that sort of process claims very, very quickly, and we have never had a claim not issued that we have submitted. So how else are we different as a company? So not only do we do insurance, but we also help our clients with business planning. We do a lot of educational workshops. We help our students to find jobs if they want our help. And then there's the financial planning, the investments, incorporating, and my favorite as well is, I'm a big educator on stocks and real estate. Investment real estate. I have clients who buy commercial properties. I have clients who buy dental clinics. I have clients who start dental clinic facilities with medical clinics, pharmacies all attached. And so what I like to do is I like to use them as an educational resource to network with my other dentists so that they can help to teach them. I know a lot of information that I'm able to give, but they have this valuable dental information because they've already done it. That's one of the reasons why our company is a little bit different, because we support not only as a starting point, the insurance, but then it will graduate to dental financial planning. It'll graduate to, investment planning. And these are all of the different ways that we are able to help you. So our practice is based off of insurance investments as well as financial advising consulting. We have a team and we have partnerships with accounting firms, with legal firms. If you were to do a dental residency, maybe an oral surgeon, something of that sort, we also offer through our partnerships with our accounting firm free free tax filing while you're in your residency as well. So our partnerships with UBC Dentistry have been very, very long, the longest running one compared to other companies at UBC currently. So we've been in partnerships with them for over 10 years as a sponsor. So we have a large amount of dental students that are now practicing, that are still part of our community and are still very, very happy to help. We have a strong relationship with the DUS, and that relationship will continue through our sponsorships. One of the things that we love to do is we love to teach. My background is actually in education. I taught at the college level. And I like to bring my clients into my private workshops and teach them about various different topics. And a lot of times get guest speakers. So this could be on dental business planning, tax strategies, real estate investing. I usually will ask the students what it is that they want to learn over here. And then what I love to do, bring in guest speakers, bring in some of the top dentists in the Lower Mainland, or even through webinar, we had a few from the US come to talk about how their journey of starting a business, the challenges today, the advice that they have for the younger guys over here. One of the exciting things I'm going to do this year is I have a few of my dental grads from several years ago who are starting dental practices in the Lower Mainland, and I want them to come to talk about their journey with the younger guys. But remember, these are all private sessions. These are for clients only. The majority of the new graduating class 2023 became Latitude West clients. I've taught them, I've brought them into my private workshops, I've networked with them, I've introduced them to other dentists at different events such as the PDC, and I will continue to do so with the next graduating class as well. So a new feature that we have on our website, Latitude West, on our latitude-west.ca website, is that we have a section called Webinar Replays. And for our webinar replays, there's a section dedicated just for dentists. And in there, we have years of these wonderful, wonderful workshops with our guest speakers talking about how do I find my first dental job? You know, how do I accelerate my wealth as a doctor? How do I transition out of dental school correctly? And how do I structure my first year practice, as well as many, many, many more topics. So these are meant for our clients. So unfortunately, if you were to visit the site, the majority of these are locked. But once you become a client, we basically unlock it so you could listen to this to support your education, you know, as an added value for us. And I will continue to do these webinars and continue to record them and put them on our website so that all of our dental clients has access to them. We had one of our wonderful dental grads summarize all of their notes in a very, very neat format, course per course, you know, unit per unit. They put all of these together for the sole purpose of supporting and helping their fellow classmates over here. So this is another feature that we would love to share with you, whether you're in first year, whether you're in second, third, or fourth year over here. We'd love to be able to share this with you as a client of Latitude West as well, if it can be used to help to support your learning. So with our social, we love to socialize. We love to introduce you to other clients. And so we like to give sometimes the events at Brown's, and the other year we rented out the entire Earls in Yaletown. And what we did was, it was a great opportunity for people to mingle. We had dentists as old as in their 60s there. We had ones as young as in first year, but it was just a great environment for people to talk. I introduced many of the senior dentists to the younger ones, and essentially it was just a great networking event. So our Latitude West team is here to help you if you did want to put in place or to set up a phone call with us so that we can, you know, process or answer your questions and then process an application if need be. The Manulife representative, I'm very, very close with here in British Columbia, and he had a few words to say.
Hi, my name is Daryl Faulkner. I am the Director of Individual Insurance Sales for Manulife Financial here in British Columbia. I have had the pleasure of working with Christian for about 8 years. Christian is an elite advisor, which means he is top of the table of a producer with Manulife Financial on the insurance side. In 2018, he was actually top for volume for living benefit sales in British Columbia. So that means he really does know what he's talking about when it comes to critical illness and disability. His knowledge base is absolutely phenomenal. He has a great grasp of not only living benefits, but the life insurance and the investment side of the business. If you were to place your business, place your trust with anybody you can work with, I would definitely recommend Christian and his firm.
So If you're ready to talk, you can book a call with my assistant. We can go over any of your questions. Assistant at latitude-west.ca. I always make myself available for all of my clients. So you can text me at 604-202-9178 if you had a question for me, or if you just wanted to set up a time to talk. I hope that this has helped in explaining myself, my team, as well as the changes happening with the disability insurance. All right, I will talk to you soon, and have a great year.